Hey everyone. So we solved example 1. Now we're going to be solving example 2 into using the product, the quotient, and the power properties type of equation that we're going to be dealing with. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So here, just a quick reminder that when you see an LG means log base 10. So just keep that in mind because we're going to need to change that a little bit later on. It's one of the classic ones, right? It's the one that most calculators have on and so on. So let us do the domain. I hope that no one is forgetting to do their domains at this point. All right, let's look. So base, like we just mentioned, we have bases 10 in this problem. So because we have just base 10, we don't have anything to check for the base. It's all good. It satisfies the two requirements, which is the base has to be bigger than 0 and not 1. So let's go ahead and do the argument. So just like the other problems, we're going to have two arguments to look for. So 1 and 2. Starting with argument 1, so we want x squared minus 125 to be bigger than 0. Please do not send the 125 on that side and take the square root. That doesn't work. So in this case, I'm just going to use a difference of squares. Just note that the square root of 125 isn't 5 and it's not 25 either. It's some number that we are going to calculate later on, but for now it's just going to be the square root of 125 because 125 is 5 cubed. It's not 5 squared or 25 squared. So this has to be bigger than 0. As per usual, you're going to need your interval method. So let's do that. We have minus 125 here, plus root 125 here. You can figure out which interval is positive and negative, whichever way you want. And then after that, you need your positive. So we're going to need these two intervals for that. All right, we figured out the first argument. Now let's go ahead and do the second argument, which is x minus 6. I'll show you where I'm taking that quickly, coming from this second log right here. All right, so we need x minus 6 to be bigger than 0, meaning x has to be greater than 6. Now, remember, we need the two conditions for the arguments to be satisfied at the same time. So I'm going to take a different color. So we said x has to be greater than 6. If x has to be greater than 6, well, first of all, root 125, so how much is that? We know that root 121 is 11. So this has to be equal to 11 point something. So our 6 should be somewhere in the middle. That's what it means. So if x has to be greater than 6, it means it's this area. So the first interval, which would be between minus infinity and minus root 125, would not work because that is smaller than 6. And like I said, the two things need to happen at the same time. So the only interval for which the values of x we can take would be bigger than root 125. So this would work for both logs at the same time, which is our goal here. So our domain is going to be x has to be greater than square root of 125, which is approximately, which is in fact equal to, it's equal to 5 root 5, which is 11 point something, just to keep that in mind. So, all right, we've got our domain. Let's go ahead and solve this now. So just like the first problem we did, we have a subtraction. So if we have a subtraction, it means we can transform this expression, this equation, so that we only have one log, so LG again for base 10, and we would have to divide our two arguments together. So x squared minus 125 divided by x minus 6, and that's all equal to 2. So just like before, we are going to use the definition on the next step, which I'm going to show you just right now. So our definition is just here in blue. So we're going to have to transform this into the exponential. I'm sorry. I hope that the moving screen is not making anyone sick. Okay, so the base is 10. So this is going to be 10 squared because of the thing on the other side. And that's going to be equal to the argument, x squared minus 125 over x minus 6. Let's rearrange this because we just need to solve for it. So I'm just going to multiply my x minus 6 in the other side. So we're going to get 100x minus 600 is equal to x squared minus 125. We have a quadratic, so let's put one side equal to 0. So x squared minus 100x, and then plus, what do we get? 475, I think. Seems about right. Let's see. So I think I'm just going to be a little bit lazy and use a quadratic formula. So when I calculated my discriminant beforehand, I got that it is 90 squared. I hope this is correct. So it means my two values of x would be given by 100 plus minus 90 over 2, which is pretty sweet. So we should get 95 and 5. These are my two values. So now we got to check to see if they are in the domain or not. So let's zoom out and remind ourselves what the domain is. Domain has to be, x has to be greater than 11 point something, meaning that this one here is an acceptable answer, but this one isn't. So our only answer is going to be x equals 95. That is the solution for this problem. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and I will do my best to answer. Have a great day, guys.